This is Optimal Health Daily, episode 1630. Are you exploring into your body's responses? Here's why you should. By Kate Galliett of fitforreallife.com. And I'm Dr. Neil, your very own personal narrator. Welcome to a Thursday edition of Optimal Health Daily. This is one of a few shows where we read to you from blogs for free so that you don't have to read them yourself. Now on Fridays, I do something a little different. That's where I answer your questions. And remember, you can send me a question by going to oldpodcast.com/ask or email your question directly to health@oldpodcast.com. Listening to and reading your questions is one of my favorite parts of the show, so I thank you in advance for taking the time to send me your questions. But that's all about tomorrow's show, so let's get right to today's post as we optimize your life. Are you exploring into your body's responses? Here's why you should. By Kate Galliett of fitforreallife.com. Today, I want to address a super important part of learning how to use body responses to help you feel great in your body. It's so important that without it, you're really going to struggle with changing anything about your body. A child's favorite question. What is a child's favorite question? If you've ever been around a child who is anywhere from age 3 on up, you already know the answer. Why? Why is the sky blue? Why do cars have wheels? Why do I have to sleep? Children are naturally inquisitive, and if you spend any time at all with them, you'll quickly realize how many things there are to inquire about in the world. You were probably this way as a child too, probably still this way about certain topics now as an adult. My invitation to you is to carry that sense of inquisitiveness further into your body care. When you sense some joint pain that wasn't there before, ask why. When you feel achy and run down, ask why. When your wrist hurts every time you move it a certain way, ask why. But don't stop there, because why won't get you anywhere if you don't then follow it up with something that moves you toward a possible answer to the question. What's that all about? That something is a willingness to go exploring. Here's the definition of the word explore. Definition 1, to investigate, study, or analyze. Definition 2, to become familiar with by testing or experimenting. Definition 3, to travel over new territory for adventure or discovery. And definition 4, to examine, especially for diagnostic purposes. Notice how inviting the concept is. And isn't that nice, since most of us, myself included, have had times in life when we don't feel very inviting towards our body or invited by our body to feel how we want to feel? With regard to your body's aches, pains, and limitations, explore for answers. Explore to learn. Explore to understand more of your body and what it needs to respond the way you want it to. Breaking down bigger issues into basic elements. As an example of exploring into body aches and pains, I had a client who had taken up running recently, and the only part of her body that was feeling not great from this endeavor were her ankles. They were becoming a limiter, what with how sore and pinchy they felt. We started working together to try and solve this issue. My client could have easily thought that running just isn't for her, or that it's not worth it to go running if it meant the rest of her day was negatively impacted by her sore and pinchy ankles. Instead, we took the primary issue of how her ankles were feeling and explored some of the basic elements that might be contributing to her ankles feeling the way they did. There are many potential basic elements that can contribute to ankle stiffness in a runner, but 3 of the most common are 1, an increase in running mileage that was too much too quickly, 2, inappropriate footwear for the person and their gait, and 3, lack of adequate mobility and/or strength in the lower leg, ankle, feet, and toes. Her mileage and shoes were without issue, so I suggested we tackle the fact that she wasn't doing any mobility or strength work for her lower legs, ankles, or feet. Running requires a lot of effort from your body generally, and your feet and ankles particularly. If the joints, soft tissues, and muscles of your feet and ankles aren't strong and mobile enough to handle regular runs, then your body may start letting you know through stiffness, aches, or pains. My client got started on foot and ankle strength and mobility exercises, some of which she did daily and others which she did 3 times weekly. This sort of exploration to figure out her stiff ankles was carried over by her as she did the exercises. Oh wow, I didn't know toes should be able to move that way. Mine don't. She focused consistently on building her ability to move her toes, feet, and ankles in all the ways I showed her through the exercises. Now, had she done this and not noticed any changes to her stiff ankles, we'd have simply continued on exploring what the next option for action might be. Thankfully, though, my client reported back that her ankles were starting to feel better, and in practically no time at all, they weren't an issue for her anymore. I hope you'll use this story to inspire your own exploration into the body aches, pains, and challenges that you want to improve. Start with why. Explore possible answers. Try some things. See what happens to how your body feels and moves. Become an excellent caretaker of your body in the process. You just listened to the post titled, "Are You Exploring into Your Body's Responses? Here's Why You Should," by Kate Galliett of fitforreallife.com. If you dream it, you can do it, right? If only self-fulfilling prophecies worked for hiring for your team. When you partner with Indeed, building the right team is that simple. Indeed partners with you on every step of the hiring process. Find great talent through time-saving tools like Indeed Instant Match, assessments, and virtual interviews. And Indeed is the only job site where you're guaranteed to find quality applications that meet your must-have requirements, or else you don't pay. I love that Indeed makes hiring all in one place so easy. Indeed saves you headaches. Interview virtually with no downloads, plugins, or purchases. You can do it all in one place with Indeed. Start hiring right now with a $75 sponsored job credit to upgrade your job post at Indeed.com/health. Offer valid through March 31st. Go to Indeed.com/health to claim your $75 credit before March 31st. Indeed.com/health. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed. Dr. Neil here for my commentary. I feel like we'll often ignore those aches and pains for as long as we can. We don't ask why we're experiencing that pain until we reach a point where we simply can't take it anymore. I know I've reached this point before. Instead of potentially stopping the pain before it got worse by looking at the root cause, I would try and ignore it. I know I've done this when I felt flare-ups of my condition starting to come on, or even in the case of my bout of plantar fasciitis I told you about last year. But finally, the pain was so unbearable, I had to figure out the why, the root cause, so I could start feeling better. And, probably even more importantly, prevent it from happening again. By exploring the why, we can hopefully prevent this from happening to us again in the future. All right, that wraps up today's episode. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being a subscriber of the show. Thank you for sharing the show with someone. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you back here tomorrow for a Friday Q&A and where your optimal life awaits.